The evening had started off in silence, the kind of stillness that felt almost heavy, though I never expected it to unravel the way it did. I hadn't planned on being at that bar, and I certainly hadn't imagined that Jason would walk through its doors just as I sat there across from someone else. The moment I saw him, my chest tightened, my pulse quickened, and for a fraction of a second, I forgot how to breathe. But I steadied myself. I wasn't doing anything wrong. At least that's what I told myself. Across from me sat John. I had met him only a few weeks earlier, but his presence had quickly become a strange kind of comfort. He had this warmth about him, this ability to listen without judgment, to look at me as if I mattered, as if I hadn't been fading into the background of my own relationship. With John, I felt visible again, something Jason hadn't made me feel in months. That was the dangerous part. I hadn't fallen for John, not in the way that mattered, but he filled the emptiness Jason had left behind. Jason, my boyfriend of 2 years, the man I swore I wanted forever with, had been slipping away from me. It wasn't just the long hours at work or the exhaustion written on his face. It was the wall he had built between us. Every time I tried to talk, he brushed me off with a weary, "I'm just tired." Maybe it wasn't personal to him, but to me it was suffocating. I could feel him disappearing, piece by piece, and no matter how I reached for him, he pulled further away. And so, without meaning to, I reached for someone else. That night, everything collided. Jason stepped into the bar and froze when his eyes landed on me sitting across from John. His expression said more than words ever could. He wasn't just surprised. He was wounded, betrayed, and beneath the anger simmering in his gaze was something that broke me more than rage ever could. Sorrow. I panicked, unable to string together a single explanation. My throat was dry, my mind racing, but before I could even try, John picked up on the tension. He stood, his voice careful, almost apologetic. "I think I should go." He slipped away, leaving behind an air so heavy it pressed on my chest. But Jason didn't look at him. He never once shifted his focus. His eyes were locked on mine, and in them was everything I had destroyed. "You've been seeing him behind my back," he said, voice low and ragged. "But what hurts the most isn't that you're with another man. It's that you didn't trust me enough to tell me what was wrong." His words pierced me deeper than any accusation. It wasn't about John. It was about the fact that I had given my silence to Jason, but poured my thoughts into someone else. I had chosen another person to confide in when I should have been fighting for him, for us. "You think I don't care?" His voice cracked just slightly, and it made me ache in places I didn't know could hurt. "I've been working so hard because I wanted to give you everything. I wanted to build a future for us. But I didn't realize that while I was trying to give you the world, I was losing you." I could barely sit upright under the weight of his honesty. Guilt gnawed at me. Regret clawed at my throat. All this time I thought I was the one abandoned, neglected, unloved, but the truth was harsher. He had been trying in his own way, blinded by his efforts to provide, while I had been too consumed by my loneliness to see the love still there, hidden under his exhaustion. And what shattered me most was not the anger in his voice, because there was none. He didn't yell, didn't lash out. He didn't accuse me of betrayal in the way I expected. Instead, he surrendered. He gave up. His calm was worse than fury. It meant he had no fight left. When he turned and walked out, I stayed rooted to my seat, my whole body hollow. Every instinct screamed at me to chase him, to beg him to stay, to explain that I hadn't meant for this to happen, that John was never about love, just a crutch for my loneliness. But my legs wouldn't move. My voice wouldn't rise. Because deep down I knew it was already too late. The wound had been cut too deep. I sat there with tears threatening but refusing to fall, staring at the door he had walked through. Jason had left not because I had met another man, but because I had given up on him long before he ever gave up on me. I had made him feel unworthy when all he wanted was to make me happy. And when the moment came for him to fight for us, he didn't, because I had already let us unravel. That night, in the dim glow of that bar, I realized the cruelest truth. Sometimes, in trying to fill the emptiness inside, you end up destroying the very thing that once kept your heart whole. Jason didn't lose me, I lost him. And not because he stopped caring, but because somewhere along the way, I had stopped believing he ever did. Would you like me to also create alternate endings for this rewrite? One where she runs after Jason, one where Jason confronts John, and one where he silently walks away forever?